Here we are for the Brazilian Grand Prix Sprint Edition for the penultimate round of the Aston Martin Road to Glory and my penultimate ever video on this game. As you can see on screen, we have an upgrade arriving on the 9th. If you want to see exactly what happened in the last episode and why that's there, go check it out, link in the top right. The last race, guys, possibly the race of the season in terms of pure action. Portimao, the Portuguese Grand Prix, the third from last race, link in the top right. Spoilers are ahead, so go watch it because there's a lot at stake in this episode. Now then, let's talk about the upgrade, which we chose to rush in the last episode. Unfortunately, as you'd expect, it failed. So I went ahead and repurchased it, but it's not going to be on the car in time for Abu Dhabi. So the fate of our car and us improving for the last race and to have a better package solely relies on the pending ultimate upgrade, which is scheduled to arrive in between races. That one wasn't rushed, so I'm hoping it arrives. You can see now on screen, we need that to arrive because that could give us a chance to fight in Abu Dhabi and really put on a show. Anyway, we've been on a pretty insane run lately, guys. Honestly, the car has been incredible. Last race finishing in P2, yet another podium. But one thing has eluded us this season, and that is the race win. Could this be the race we do it? Could Abu Dhabi be the race we do it? Anyway, I mentioned before, this is a sprint round, and I'm going to take a completely different approach. Practice went well, tyre wear is great, fuel consumption is very low. However, historically, I've always struggled here in Brazil. The AI for some reason are really strong and I can keep up in the middle sector, but I'm usually really slow on the straight. So I'm going to sacrifice and take an all-in gamble. I'm basically going to change my setup, which I used in practice and worked well. I'm going to basically go down by 1 on the front and the rear wing. Possibly, I might even go down an extra click on the rear wing for qualifying, race and sprint. But before that, we are going to take a brand new power unit. I want full power for this race. And with that taking place, it means we're going to start from the back of the grid. So no qualifying and no sprint. Or at least that's what you'd normally do. However, I'm going to actually take part in the sprint purely for R&D purposes to research if the setup gamble is going to work and if we have cards to play in this hand, in this race in Brazil. So let's get into the sprint and let's see what I can do.
So it is all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, Russell, Daniel Ricciardo, and Hamilton, Ocon, Albon, Gasly, and Kevin Magnussen, Mick Schumacher, Latifi, Valtteri Bottas, and Tsunoda, Joe, Stroll, Lando Norris and Sebastian Vettel, Sainz and Martinez. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
So before we jump into the race, we have the sprint, which, to be fair, is basically pointless because we have a penalty. However, I'm going to actually do a few laps because I want to use it as an exercise to try and understand if the adjustments on the setup were the right ones. Get the engine pen locked in for the race so we've got the fresh engine, and also any adjustments we have to make on wing and fuel and tyre pressures for the race, we can hopefully learn from for it. So we're going to do a few laps, maybe half of the sprint, just to kind of get a feeling and see exactly what's up. And yeah, then we'll get into the main event, into the main race, and hopefully try to fight back. Currently lap 2 of the sprint, and I've had a pretty good start, to be fair. Haven't really been talking about it, just basically did some testing, but one thing I can confirm is that the lower wing and an extra click on the rear wing has made a big difference, along with the fresh engine. We are competitive on the straights, which is exactly what I wanted, and that's always what I've struggled with around here, so that's a great sign.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
So for the race, we can definitely run neutral fuel. There is zero consumption or saving in this one. By the looks of it, it's staying at 177, 178. So we can pretty much start with like 0.2 on the fuel. Also, the softs could actually be an option for the race. They're holding on temperature-wise. Now I can either throw this away and increase my pressures and make the mediums basically bulletproof. But I think I'm happy with this. This is a nice balance. It gives us the option of soft tyre if we had to use it. So yeah, I think I've got what I need from the information here. I don't want to take too much out of the engine. Tyre wear's also nicely even, so I think we're good to go for the main event. So let's retire and call it quits.
Welcome to where heroes and history are made. It's where the 2008 title was decided in the final corner, and just 1 year later, Jenson Button stormed through from 14th on the grid to claim his one and only Drivers' Championship. It's time then for the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. We're racing then at Interlagos, a historic 2.7 mile circuit and one of the few anti-clockwise tracks on the calendar. 15 corners in total, 9 to the left and 6 to the right, with a technical middle section opening up to a flat-out Sector 3 that gives us our best passing opportunity down into Turn 1. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday, and it's put him on pole, edging out Max Verstappen, who will start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Russell, Daniel Ricciardo and Gasly, Magnussen, Norris, Latifi and Valtteri Bottas, Tsunoda, Zhou, Alex Albon. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Ocon, Vettel, Hamilton, they've taken a grid penalty. Carlos Sainz and Mick Schumacher, Stroll and Martinez. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track where preparations are underway. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you here with us today. But I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the rundown into Turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
So back on the grid, yet again, last place, just like in the sprint, and this time we have full traffic ahead and full permission to basically try our best to fight back and gain as many places as possible and try to fight back into the points. So, Stroll, here we are then, in the main event, and you've seen what we can do in terms of, sprint, pace, tyres, setup. I've got an idea now what to aim for. So for this one, we're going to start on the medium. The good thing about this one is that it gives us the option to go into the soft if we want it later on. So we can keep our options open in terms of strategy, and that's a good thing. As for fuel, I'm going for 0.2 extra, which is what I think should do the job. And yeah, hopefully that will give us the right balance. Car setup is exactly the same. Wing, pressures, happy with it. I'm not going to change it. And yeah, I know what to aim for now. I know what I've got to do. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it, guys. Leave a like, subscribe, prediction down below. Can we get into the points? And let's send it. Right, let's do this. Wow, the AI with an absolutely incredible start. No surprise, but it still surprises me in the sense that I can't wait for F1 23 to get rid of that AI overpowered cheat code start. Anyway, trying to be aggressive here. We're going to get Schumacher. Stroll gets past as well. You can see the straight line speed there as we pull away from the Haas. That is very encouraging as we have a battle ahead involving Lewis Hamilton. We're going to have to go for the big old send into the hairpin here to make some real progress, although I think there's a car ahead with either damage or someone's battling. Stroll forces us wide, so we're going to have to commit to the outside line here. which doesn't matter. We managed to get signs. Got a couple of Williams cars here. We're going to send it on Seb Vettel. And that brings us to P16, so decent start, all things considered. Let's see if we can maybe get one more here. Out of turn one. Whoa, that's a snap and a half, that was. Let's see, can we compete? Straight line speed test? Oh yes we can, look at this. Car in the pits. As we send out the inside of Albano into one. And make that P14 now. With Magnussen in the pit lane. Also, of course, the added benefit of having very low wings is that we get to recharge the battery very easily. That was an excellent middle sector, and that was a relatively decent exit. I think we can work with this. The AlphaTauri usually has good straight line speed, but we're in a different league today. Up the inside as Stroll pits for damages. Nice pass. Zhou next. It'd be nice if I could try and latch onto Hamilton. That'd be a good car to follow. Oh no. My rear wing has stayed open. That is a slight issue. I haven't had that in a while. I'll try and manage, but it will give us a straight line speed boost, but we might struggle, especially through that downhill left-hander at the end of sector 2. Luckily the middle sector is mostly low speed, so the rear wing being open doesn't matter in mechanical grip, but it's this particular corner here that I'm worried about. I struggle in the regular conditions as it is. Car was basically floating through there. It gives us a bit of extra turning as well, which I don't mind, but we just have to be careful. So don't flag, it's the Ferrari of Sainz in trouble, out of the race. Safety car wouldn't be the worst thing in the world right now to bow me out and give me a chance to fix my rear wing. And also just bunch up the pack, but I don't think we're going to get it. Well, let's see if I can pass Zhou. I've tried to have a better exit and literally my DRS repairs itself as we're going to commit to this. So let's try and go for the move anyway. Up the inside. Nicely done. Now we're going to drain the battery to try and launch onto Hamilton and get his DRS. I'm not going to get it. Little moment there on the exit which didn't help. Try and keep the battery on. I'll try and stick with. Personal best as well. Maybe on this next straight I can get it. There we go.
Okay, some information on Gasly. They've got an issue with their car, they're going to be slow.
Okay, that's great. Pierre is just in front of Bottas up the road on his own, so that is going to be a potential P7 if we get past these 4 cars and Pierre as well. McLaren in the pit lane. Daniel starting on softs. So this is now the cue for any soft tyre starters to pit. Gasly is about to be the disruptor here. This train of cars is perfectly balanced. Hamilton can't pass Ocon because Ocon's very quick. Ocon can't pass Latifi, although he's faster than him, he's in the same machine because Latifi's getting a tow from Bottas. So the balance is going to break and the train is going to open up. Gasly is going to be the instigator as Norris pits in the other McLaren. Bottas on Pierre into 1. It's kicking off. Can we use our straight line speed here? Try and get some moves done. Down the outside goes Bottas. We're going to go up the inside of Lewis. Got to be very careful here with the AI's behaviour as an end plate flies off someone's car. Alpines side by side. Lewis back up the inside. Nowhere to go, man. Just an absolute blockade of 2 wide. This is allowing Ocon to go through, which is the worst case scenario, and Bottas to pull away. This really isn't going the way I wanted it to go. We're going to try and get Nicholas here. Oh, that's the AI classic. Defense into attack. Complete accident, but that's what happens. But now we should be able to use the straight line speed to get what we want. As Ocon hits the front of the train, Bottas pits, and now we're in a proper fight. Hamilton back up the inside, but we're having none of it. Through we go. How does Ocon always slither his way through? It's been happening every race, man. Let's try and get Pierre ASAP. Don't want to waste any time stuck behind him, especially in this middle sector, which is where we're strongest. Simply cannot afford to be stuck behind. Pass at all costs. I wonder if Valtteri pitting, that was his end plate. That flew off. Anyway, let's see if we can try.
Concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving.
And go on to Ocon. It'd be typical now if Ocon had some great pace and I couldn't keep up. Or catch up, more like. I just can't catch this guy. How does this always happen? We're literally identical pace. He's probably a bit quicker than me if I'm not using battery the way I am right now. Oh, that's so annoying. So frustrating. Okay, Ocon pits. I'll try and overcut him. I don't have a lot of battery to work with, but we'll give it a shot.
Okay, we want you to pit this lap, so push now, push.
Maybe he gets held in the pits. Highly doubt it. Stay out, see what happens. Maybe we get a safety car or a virtual. We'll keep going. I might see if it's worth maybe trying out a soft tire. Worth noting, the McLarens are two-stopping, so this could be an interesting one. And there's a few more points up for grabs. I want to see if I can maybe latch on to Leclerc when he passes me. Oh my god. What happened there? Leclerc off, it just cost him the lead. I was kind of hoping to latch onto him, but something weird happened. I feel like the tyres are getting a little bit better. The kind of worst of the wear is going away and they're kind of coming back to me a little bit. That's also because of the fuel going off a little bit, but yeah, I don't think we're going to beat Ocon in a regular race. We're going to need a little bit of something to go away for us to have any chance to beat him. Okay, let's see if Checo gets by, and I'll see if I can sit in his DRS to have better pace but also recharge my own battery, as I am running a little bit low. So go on, Checo, mate, crack on, do your thing. I'll follow you through. Well, Checo was way too quick. I'm just going to pit now and get off the tyre. Tyres are pretty much gone. Just don't have any grip left, so we're going to go for the soft and hope that we can perform on that tyre. Lovely. Right. A bit cautious. Ocon will go by. Hopefully he can battle with Ricciardo a little bit. That would be nice. Hamilton's also fighting back. I'd love to be out ahead of Latifi.
Okay, they're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Oh my god, finally a slice of luck.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go.
Okay, so important here to beat Latifi out the pits. Everything's at play. Both McLarens have to stop again. And we're out ahead of Nick, which is great. And now we've got a soft tyre to run, so these next 2-3 laps are going to be key. Got to get myself onto Hamilton ASAP. Okay, got to try and beat a 1 minute 6.9 for the extra point. And fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We're going to use all the battery here to basically lock it in. It's going to be close. Oh, we didn't get it. Damn. That's a shame. I'm not going to get it now after using all the battery there and the tyres on that lap, so... Oh, that's annoying. We matched the fastest lap of the race. Anyway, gained 3 seconds on Ocon on that lap. I don't think the McLarens are going to pit, you know. I was convinced they were. They've gone for a soft medium, the only cars to do that, but I don't think they're going to pit now, but they're going to be struggling massively on tyres, especially at the end. Best we can hope for is a P5 finish here. Ocon is slow, and that McLaren ahead of him is also not particularly fast. So it's all to play for. That McLaren was battling its teammate up ahead, so I wonder if it's got damage, hence why Ocon's keeping up with it, and they're both equally as slow. Either way, we're all going to bunch up. To be fair, we need to get these 3 cars, and we need Ocon to finish at the back of all 4 of us to get a big enough point swing to give ourselves a chance in Abu Dhabi. Cars are starting to get not hot, but they're getting there. They're building temp. Managed to save a ton of battery behind Lewis over these last 2 laps. And my plan here is to get them both, get the McLaren, and drive off into the sunset. Here we go. I want that inside line. Ocon's going to defend it. Trying to box Lewis in, which we managed to achieve. Around the outside of Ocon. And just like that, we get what we want. Ricciardo next. Lovely. And hopefully Hamilton can get through as well. Here we go. Setting up the overtake. Getting the cut back out the final corner. We don't even have to use the majority of the battery. Should just be enough with some DRS. I'd love for Ricciardo to just hold up Hamilton a little bit. Gonna force our way down the inside to avoid Ricciardo locking up and possibly giving me end plate damage, or side pod damage, or floor damage, because he has got a damaged wing. But there we go. We're free to drive off into the sunset and bring this result home. And there we go. Checo is the victor. Fuel was absolutely fine, so we got that spot on again, thanks to the sprint race. And we're going to make our way through the final corner, and we're going to bring home a phenomenal P5, Ocon P8, and that could just give us a chance in Abu Dhabi to try and finish ahead in the Drivers' Championship.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Another superb Sao Paulo Grand Prix comes to an end then, and it's a thoroughly deserved victory. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today, and the results speak for themselves.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport, but you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
And there we go, a race of pretty big proportions for the championship. Ocon, by the way, did not score any points in the sprint, so we outscore him by 6 points this weekend, which was a real nice bonus. And for once, Ocon gets a slice of bad luck and a car issue in a crucial race. So yeah, Checo is your overall winner of the weekend, maximum points. Leclerc still with a pretty decent point, so of course that's already wrapped up in the championship. But yeah, what a race, P20 to P5. Incredible performance. Anyway, let's look at the standings, because that's what matters heading into the final race of this game. The gap to Ocon is 7 points. The gap to Ricciardo is 6 points. So we could finish P7 this season if things go our way in Abu Dhabi. The fact that Ricciardo and Ocon had issues at the race gave us half a chance. So that's great. I need a bit of luck with the upgrade, the ultimate chassis upgrade to go through. That would be nice. In the constructors, Alpine are not mathematically 5th, but realistically it's done. We tried, but I needed a bit of help from Stroll, because that is what the difference is. If you look at Latifi, he's bagged 31 points to Lance's 4, which is 20 plus points to be exact. It's a 27-point difference, which means if you go back to the constructors, if you add 27 points to our championship, that would leave us to 7 behind, which is the gap to Ocon, and that would give us a chance in the finale. But it is what it is. We can't do much more than that. So yeah guys, that is it for a chaotic weekend in Brazil, and the gamble paid off, not qualifying, not doing the sprint, and just basically taking the engine and adjusting the setup. And yeah, leave a like, subscribe for more. Hopefully you enjoyed it. One more race to go and F1 22 is finished. As always, a big shout out to the members. Check out the 2 videos on screen, and yeah guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Take care, and that's goodbye from me.